Could your company get fined $100 million for using DeepSeek and other Chinese AI large language models? Is OpenAI coming for not just Google, but also Salesforce? And what's new in Gemini 2.0? We went straight to the source. All right, there's obviously a lot going on in the world of AI, and you can spend hours every single day trying to keep up with it and how it's going to impact your company and your career. Or you can do the smart thing. Let us do that work for you. Most Mondays, this is our show. We bring you the AI news that matters. And there's a lot of AI news that matters this week. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson, and I'm the host. This is Everyday AI. This is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter, helping us all not just keep up with AI, but how we can be the smartest person in AI and use it to grow our companies and our careers. So if that sounds like what you're trying to do, you're in the right place. The other right place for you is youreverydayai.com. That's our website. You can go there, sign up for our free daily newsletter. Each day, we recap our podcast episode of the day, bringing you exclusive insights, as well as keeping you up to date with literally everything else that's going on in the AI world. Also on our website, you can find more than 440 now back episodes of the show. You can go listen to them all for free, watch the YouTube videos, everything on the site. Also, I got to call out one more thing on the site because it is highly relevant. Our 2025 AI predictions and roadmap series. So go check those out. It's on our website, episodes 443 to 447. All right, enough chit chat. Let's get straight into it and talk about the AI news for the week of February 10th. Hey, good morning to everyone joining us on the live stream. Podcast audience, we do this live almost every single weekday anyways, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you ever want to come join us, follow us on YouTube, I guess Twitter, LinkedIn, all that, and join cool people like Michael here and Big Bogey Face, Michelle, Sandra, Marie, Christopher, everyone, Douglas, Joe, Shane, thanks for joining us, everyone. Let's get into the AI news. First, OpenAI is reportedly developing its own AI chip to reduce its dependency on NVIDIA. So OpenAI is advancing its plan to lessen reliance on NVIDIA by developing its first in-house AI chip, according to a report by Reuters. So the chip design is nearing completion and will be sent for fabrication to the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, using advanced 3-nanometer technology. The move is significant as it could enhance OpenAI's negotiating power with other chip suppliers and also reduce costs associated with NVIDIA's chips, which currently dominate the market with, depending on what you look at, anywhere between an 80 to 90% share. So if successful, OpenAI plans to mass produce the chip by 2026, marking a swift progression in a field where other tech giants like Microsoft and Meta have faced similar challenges. So the chip aims to initially run AI models on a limited scale with potential for broader capabilities in future iterations. So this initiative is part of a broader trend where major tech companies are exploring alternatives to NVIDIA due to rising costs and dependence on just one provider. Yeah, so a lot of the big tech companies are either trying to do it themselves, right? Because they're like, all right, we're paying billions of dollars to NVIDIA. Maybe we could just do it better. Maybe we could create our own chip. So, Google and Amazon/AWS, Microsoft have gone down that route or tried to go down. And a lot of them are still using a combination of their own in-house chips versus NVIDIA. It's not just cost, it's also supply. Right. So sometimes, you'll have a single provider go buy, 100,000 of NVIDIA's, most powerful chips. And it can be hard to kind of stockpile your supply. And you might be wondering, all right, Jordan, why does this matter? Well, the entire generative AI movement so far has primarily been powered by NVIDIA, right? All of the AI that you probably use is probably powered by NVIDIA. So a lot of the big tech companies, like we talked about, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, etc., are trying to at least diversify the chips they use to power their large language models so they can scale faster, so they can have more control over their kind of uptime versus their downtime. So the strategic move by OpenAI reflects that growing trend among tech companies to develop their own proprietary technology or to have kind of a secondary partner in crime. All right. Next piece of AI news. Google's Gemini 2.0 family has fully rolled out. So Google just released its updated Gemini 2.0 family of models, marking a significant advancement in their AI technology. So we actually had Logan Kilpatrick, the senior product manager at Google DeepMind, on the show Friday, bringing you some exclusive insights into not just what's new in Gemini 2.0, but also kind of Google's future plans around the models. So Gemini 2.0 includes three kind of new or updated varieties. One of them is actually a new category. So the upgraded 2.0 Flash, the new, even more cost-effective Flash Lite, and the highly capable, the big boy, finally got updated, Gemini 2.0 Pro. So many of these updates are now available inside of Google's AI Studio, Google Vertex for developers, and many of them are actually rolled out to the front end Gemini chat. Bless up, right? Y'all have heard me belly aching, probably in 2022, 2023 about Google kept some of its more powerful and most updated model varieties not in the front end of Gemini chat, which I think actually cost them. So it was cool to hear from Logan on Friday, kind of their plans to bolster Gemini chat and a lot of these new models and some even new features exclusive to just the front end of Gemini were rolled out on Friday. So Logan highlighted the potential for Gemini 2.0 to unlock new use cases and improve productivity through its enhanced reasoning and agentic capabilities, which allow AI to perform complex tasks and assist users more proactively. Our conversation also touched on the future of work, emphasizing the role of AI in automating tasks and enabling individuals to create software applications more efficiently. So yeah, if you didn't check out that conversation, we recapped it in our newsletter, but go listen to it. I highly recommend it. Episode 457. I said this on the show. I think Logan is one of the brightest minds in AI. He previously worked at OpenAI as well as a couple other AI startups. So definitely worth catching that conversation if you missed it. I mean, listen to Fred. Fred, our live stream audience just said Logan was outstanding. He was. So make sure you go check that conversation out if you didn't already. All right. Could you get fined millions of dollars if your business uses DeepSeek? Maybe. If a new bill proposed in the U.S. Congress has anything to say about it, you could. It's not a misprint. Also, I don't know, or actually, I don't even think this bill will make it into law, but still, it is worth talking about. So a newly proposed law in the U.S. could lead to significant fines or jail time for using the Chinese AI app DeepSeek. So the proposed legislation filed by Republican Senator Josh Hawley seeks to prevent U.S. people from advancing AI capabilities in China. So the proposed law would ban the import of technology or intellectual property developed in China with potential penalties of up to 20 years in prison or fines of up to $1 million for individuals and $100 million for businesses. All right. That's not like when I saw this story come across, I was like, wait, is this real? And I read it and it is. Let me repeat that. So for all you people that have been like, oh, Jordan, you need to be pushing DeepSeek. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. It's a Trojan horse, or it's a potential Trojan horse. This is why, right? I kid you not, y'all. I have Fortune 500 leaders reach out to me saying, hey, we made our decision based on, a series of podcasts you did on certain large language models or certain demos. So I take that responsibility I keep that very close to the chest. So people were, a bunch of people were DMing me and saying, Jordan, why aren't you pushing DeepSeek? I'm like, well, I'm not too certain on a lot of the things that are coming out. So pretty interesting and hefty potential fines if this does become a law. Like I said, I don't think this version of the bill, I did briefly, I did used to cover politics at a fairly high level. So I don't think this version of the bill will become law yet. I do think something like this could be enacted into law, although it would take quite a while, right? So even the TikTok ban that came into effect for like a day, it got tabled for I think 100 days by U.S. President Donald Trump. So we'll see if that TikTok ban does come back. But the TikTok ban took like 2 years for it to be enacted. So we'll see if it actually gets reenacted after this kind of grace period. So although here's the thing, although DeepSeek is not explicitly named in the bill, its recent surge in popularity in the US has raised security, privacy, and ethical concerns. So yeah, DeepSeek was not named in the proposed bill, but it would be included in the proposed bill. It was just a blanket kind of bill on certain Chinese AI tech. So the US Navy and NASA have already banned DeepSeek from government-issued devices and networks. Texas just became the first state to ban DeepSeek on government devices, citing concerns about data harvested by the Chinese Communist Party. Security experts warn that DeepSeek could pose a greater threat to data privacy and security than other Chinese-owned apps like TikTok, as its data is stored in China. So this proposed bill is just the latest in a very bad week for DeepSeek. So there was reportedly a massive database leak exposing over 1 million chat logs and sensitive data, while security flaws like unencrypted transfers and algorithms have raised further concerns. Also, the company is facing cyber attacks, which caused outages, U.S. sanctions and probes over reportedly smuggled NVIDIA chips, yes, and disputes with OpenAI over potential distillation or unauthorized model use. And there's also some jailbreak vulnerabilities and device fingerprinting risks that have added to the backlash. So yeah, everyone went straight up BANANAS over DeepSeek a couple of weeks ago. If you listen to my AI prediction series, this is before all the DeepSeek hoopla. I said, just be on the lookout because 2025 is going to be filled with a bunch of AI from China that may end up being a Trojan horse to collect, harvest, and kind of do some bad things with US data. So not saying I warned y'all and here's the fallout, but I warned y'all and here's the fallout. Also, even since this time, new models from Google Gemini and from OpenAI have, caught or have kind of more or less erased a lot of what people perceived to be DeepSeek's kind of advantage in terms of cost, power, speed. I think all of those things that people were talking about DeepSeek having a huge advantage in are kind of gone now. And now there's a straight up laundry list of potential huge concerns. All right, let's keep it going. Hey, and Douglas says, thanks, Douglas. Douglas says, you have been slow and steady on DeepSeek, very consistent on this topic. Yeah, like I said, I know we have a lot of people listening from the biggest companies in the world. Small and medium-sized businesses are tuning in and making decisions based on, the news and what we talk about. So yeah, I'm not going to push anything, right? My background was, I was an investigative reporter, before I got into kind of, marketing at a nonprofit, but I was an investigative reporter for many years, right? So I'm never going to, take a message that some company comes out with and just, tell, our hundreds of thousands of podcast listeners, because that's dangerous, right? I would never do that. So yeah, a lot of people are always like, want me to cover the latest and the greatest. If it's from a company like Google, or if it's from a company like OpenAI or Claude, of course, we're going to. When it comes to other companies in other countries where there might be some other motivations, I'm probably going to hit pause because I don't want to be a part of the narrative that could really do a lot of potential damage to other people, other businesses. All right. Workday. Yikes. So Workday, an HR software platform, is reportedly laying off 7 1,400 plus employees, which represents about 8.5% of its global workforce. So the move is part of a strategic realignment toward AI and long-term growth. So according to a memo from its CEO, Workday's layoffs are a necessary step to adapt to the increasing demand for AI, which is expected to drive a new era of growth for the company, or at least that's what the company says, right? So they anticipate incurring up to $270 million in costs related to severance payments, yikes, and employee benefits, with affected employees receiving at least 12 weeks of pay. So despite the layoffs, Workday plans to continue hiring and investing in new locations, signaling a strategic reshuffle rather than a downturn. So Workday's decision follows similar announcements from tech giants like Google, Meta, and Microsoft, highlighting a broader trend of workforce reductions in the tech industry. You know what? Speaking of predictions, I literally predicted this back in 2023. I said in the fourth quarter of 2024, we're going to see big tech companies be laying off employees in the thousands as they quote unquote figured out AI. Then I said what would happen shortly thereafter is Fortune 500 companies would learn from what big tech companies did at the end of 2024 and would start laying off thousands of employees and say, quote unquote, they are focusing on AI. And what happened? And I literally said when they did this, their stock would go up. And look what happened with Workday. They did the exact same thing. They said that they were going to lay off almost 8% of their workforce, and their stock shot up about 5%. Right? As crazy as that sounds, I'm a realist when it comes to AI and jobs. If you are listening anyone to anyone talking about AI's impact on jobs, and they say, AI won't take your job, someone using AI will, that person doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Because that person using AI can obviously, quote unquote, take 5 jobs, 10 jobs, 20 jobs, 30 jobs, 50 jobs, right? And when we talk about multi-agentic or multi environments with multiple AI agents, that's even more of a compounding factor. So not surprising. It's very sad to see these huge layoffs, but expect a lot of Fortune 500 companies to be following big tech's 2024 blueprint. Essentially, once you get generative AI figured out, and a lot of what it is, it's time savings, right? So before, you just had a lot of individual employees or individual departments who were kind of the early adopters for generative AI and large language models in their company. They were just pocketing that time savings, right? So big tech companies figured it out first, throughout 2023 and late 2024. And now the rest of Fortune 500 companies are probably going to be figuring it out this year. So I do expect to see a lot of similar stories, even though they're very sad, where especially public companies say, hey, we're cutting a couple thousand jobs. We're going to be focusing on AI. Their stock price is going to go up, which just does create this vicious cycle of layoffs that we're going to continue to see. All right. Because when you, say we're cutting jobs, we're focusing on AI, your stock price goes up. And there's a good chance you can probably, if you are actually focusing on AI, well, you can probably keep revenue somewhat steady. So unfortunately, it's going to be a trend that we're going to continue to see play out throughout the rest of this year. All right, let's jump into robotics, y'all. So Figure AI has kind of stepped away from their partnership with OpenAI. So this is pretty significant here. So Figure AI, a US-based robotics startup, has ended its partnership with OpenAI, citing their own significant breakthrough in robot intelligence developed entirely in-house. So CEO Brett Adcock announced this decision on Twitter, stating that their new AI models make external partnerships unnecessary. Yeah, wow, right? I saw this midweek on Twitter, and I'm like, wait, what? It's kind of shocking, right? You even saw this partnership, this Figure OpenAI partnership featured on 60 Minutes, right? It was very a highly visible partnership between Figure AI and OpenAI. So pretty significant here that the Figure AI CEO is saying like, nah, we're good. We don't need OpenAI. We've got this covered in-house. So the split comes after a $670 million funding round that valued Figure at that valued Figure at $2.6 billion, initially intended to boost the development of the Figure O2 robot. So Adcock highlighted that large language models have become commoditized and are now a major component of their technology. OpenAI, meanwhile, is expanding its own robotics efforts, recently hiring for new positions and filing trademarks related to humanoid robots. So Figure AI has also secured other partnerships with companies like BMW Manufacturing and another unnamed major U.S. client, aiming to deploy up to 100,000 humanoid robots over the next 4 years. So yeah, if you didn't see this latest round of Figure's kind of AI robots, pretty fascinating, right? So yeah, it is a kind of quote unquote traditional humanoid robot. However, this last version was powered, I believe, by a special fine-tuned version of GPT 4.0. So what that meant, in the same way that you can talk to advanced voice mode and it can see, right? By using kind of a certain AI version of computer vision. The same thing was true for this Figure robot, right? It could see things. It could process natural language processing. Extremely impressive in the initial demos. So for Figure's CEO to say, yeah, we're good, it's pretty exciting. He did also say that he promised to reveal details of Figure's breakthrough, their in-house breakthrough, within 30 days. So probably by the end of this month or very early March, we should see more about what breakthrough did Figure apparently come to that not required them, but led them to say, yeah, OpenAI, yeah, we're good without you. So pretty shocking news story there. Michael, that's funny. Michael livestream said, we've got it figured out. We will use the API. That's funny. Gotta love the dad jokes early Monday morning. All right. Our next piece of AI news. Google, some interesting news here. So Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, has revised its AI ethical guidelines and no longer explicitly banning the development of technologies that could cause harm, such as weapons and surveillance tools. Yeah, so essentially, Google had previously promised not to use AI for weapons, and last week they kind of took that out of their policy. So the change comes amid growing global competition in AI development, with Alphabet emphasizing the importance of democracies leading AI development, guided by principles of freedom, equality, and human rights. So Google's AI head, Demis Hassabis, stated that the guidelines are being updated to reflect a changing world, highlighting AI's role in protecting national security. So yeah, Demis was previously very against this, at least publicly. And, it seems like his stance has since kind of softened. So the announcement coincided with Alphabet reporting lower than expected earnings, with shares dropping 8% due to slower growth in its cloud business, which lags behind Amazon and Microsoft. Alphabet also plans to invest $75 billion in capital expenditure next year on AI, focusing on expanding its AI capabilities and infrastructure. So the rapid evolution of AI technology has sparked debates on governance and risk management, with experts warning against autonomous AI-powered weapon systems and advocating for global control. So I don't know, what live stream audience, what do you guys think about this? So I think that there's not much we can do, right? In the same, like, I've always said something that we need to start replacing the word artificial intelligence or generative AI or large language models with the internet, right? Because I think the line between the two has been blurred for like 2 years, and I think it is going to continue to blur. And in the same way that if you're a knowledge worker today, right, that's someone that sits in front of a computer and does work, which is probably the majority of people listening to this podcast. If you're a knowledge worker, you're on the internet all day, right? So I do believe, and I do see that same future, right? And in 5 years, we're just going to be using AI, right? Every single aspect. I don't think there will be any knowledge worker sitting in front of a computer. If we're still sitting in front of a computer, I do believe everyone will be using AI program software tools from the time they open their device until the time they close it, right? So I do think in the same way that all of us do our work essentially entirely on the internet now, in 2 to 5 years, it's going to be the exact same thing, but just with AI, generative AI, large language models, etc. So I do see the need for it, right? If the US, right? I'm from the US, but if the US wants to remain a global superpower when it comes to its military, I think you have to have you have to give the military access to the most powerful AI, right? It would kind of be like restricting, I don't know, in my mind, it'd be like restricting certain websites that everyone else in the world has access to. So, I do have split feelings on it because I don't know enough to make an educated guess, aside from reading the same news that you guys read on an ongoing basis. Maybe I'll have to have a dedicated show sometime on AI and war, or AI in the military, because I think it's going to become a growing field. I think it's going to become a growing concern at the same time. So pretty significant news there from Google. All right. So next piece of AI news. Safe Superintelligence is aiming for a $20 billion valuation. So SSI is an AI startup co-founded by Ilya Sutskever. So reportedly, according to Reuters, Ilya and SSI are in talks to raise funding at a valuation of at least $20 billion. So the potential valuation represents a significant increase from SSI's previous valuation of $5 billion in September, when it raised $1 billion from investors. So SSI, so again, that's Safe Superintelligence, focuses on developing safe superintelligence that aligns with human interest, despite not yet generating any revenue or even announcing what type of product they're going to be creating, right? So we don't necessarily know their entire plans. Are they going to be creating their own family of large language models that are quote unquote safe superintelligence? Are they going to be putting out research that helps other companies ensure their models are safe? We're not quite sure. So SSI was founded in June 2023 with offices in Palo Alto and Tel Aviv, and remains fairly secretive about its specific research directions. So Ilya Sutskever was a co-founder of OpenAI and is renowned for his contributions to generative AI, and his reputation has fueled investor interest in SSI. So unlike other AI labs, SSI aims to, quote unquote, scale in peace, avoiding short-term commercial pressures and focusing on long-term goals. So pretty interesting here to see what we will eventually see from SSI and Ilya Sutskever. He's kind of been working even before that official announcement in June 2023. There was a lot of, talk about what he was working on, because, previously he had kind of a more visible role at OpenAI. And it seemed like for the last year or so, you weren't really hearing as much from him. So, a lot of people were wondering, where's Ilya? What's he working on? Right. And then we kind of, in June 2023, we kind of saw SSI, but we've been now for the last year and a half being like, what's SSI? So the conversation went from where's Ilya to what's SSI. I'm personally excited and have high hopes, because I do think you need a safe superintelligence, right? I do think if it is quote unquote one company that is, so far ahead of others, it could be bad, right? It could be bad if just, one company, if they kind of make the AGI discovery on their own first, and then they're, bulldozing their ways towards super intelligence, right? So AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is essentially when a single AI system is much smarter than any human being on every single economically viable task, right? And then super intelligence, or ASI, artificial super intelligence, is beyond that. So it's past AGI, but it's more or less when artificial intelligence improves itself. improves itself. It makes its own next versions, right? I'm oversimplifying it here for our everyday audience, but that's what comes after. So I do think that safety is extremely important when you talk about super intelligence. That's like, you know what? I'm going to create a new model that, helps us better in the military. It's like, okay, well, who's checking super intelligence, right? When it can make its own decisions without humans in the loop. It is a quite scary proposition. So it's good to see a lot of funding going toward a company that hopefully will keep super intelligence safe. All right. GitHub, pretty big news here. So GitHub has introduced agent mode for Copilot. So GitHub has announced a new agent mode for its Copilot tool, marking a significant advancement in AI-driven software development. So not to be confused, I know this is confusing. This isn't Microsoft Copilot. This is GitHub Copilot, which happens to be owned by Microsoft, right? So this new features allows GitHub Copilot to iterate on its own code and fix errors automatically, reducing the need for human intervention in coding tasks. Also, they released a very good free version a couple of weeks ago if you haven't been following along. So GitHub is also previewing Project Padawan, a fully autonomous software engineering agent that can handle entire development tasks independently. So the agent mode enables task understanding, iterative execution, and self-healing capabilities, streamlining the coding process for developers. So GitHub Copilot was initially launched in 2021 and has evolved from a pair programming tool to a peer programming tool, now embracing agentic AI. So the new features position GitHub against competitors like Replit, Bolt, Cursor, Lovable, Windsurf, right? All of these kind of more autonomous AI coding tools that have been leading the charge in the AI-powered development space. So according to GitHub, more than 77,000 organizations have adopted GitHub Copilot, making it one of the more widely used tools among developers. So GitHub Copilot's agent mode is currently available in preview for VS Code insiders with no pricing details or general availability date announcement yet. So yeah, not everyone can go use this, and I'm guessing it's going to be slowly rolled out throughout the next couple of quarters. All right, Mistral with some big updates to its LaChat platform. So Mistral AI has introduced a significant update to its AI assistant, LaChat. Is it LaChat, LaChat? I don't know. I'm not French, so let me know if I'm getting that wrong. Is it LaChat? Making it what they say is the fastest AI agent available with new quote unquote with a new flash answers feature capable of generating responses at up to 1,000 words per second. Yeah, I messed around with it a little bit. It's pretty impressive how fast it is. Also, I don't know. Can we just come up with new names? Because I saw Flash Answers and I'm like, oh, I thought, Google was really leaning into the Flash thing. But then you had OpenAI and Google both using the deep research, and you have everyone using the Copilot, right? I don't know. Can we just come up with brand specific monikers? That would be fantastic, y'all. But this update from Mistral is newsworthy as it positions LaChat as the leader in speed and efficiency among AI assistants. So the update includes a code interpreter, allowing users to execute code, perform scientific analysis, and create visualizations in a secure environment, enhancing its utility for developers and researchers. LaChat now also incorporates the open source Flux Ultra AI image model from Black Forest Labs for advanced image generation. Also, Mistral AI has revamped its pricing structure, offering 4 tiers. So a free basic plan, which fortunately does allow you to at least get a taste of a lot of these new features. A $14.99 per month pro plan. So they're trying to look like undercut the $20 tiers from, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and others, and also a $25 per month use team plan, and then also a custom price enterprise plan. So the pro plan offers unlimited browsing and messaging. So yes, Mistral's LaChat does have internet access, which is needed, along with expanded access to news, file uploads, and analysis tools, making it attractive for users seeking a comprehensive AI assistant. LaChat is now also available on both iOS and Android platforms. Yeah, I like this. Joe here says, just not Apple intelligence, which is an oxymoron. Yeah, poor Apple. I mean, I won't say like who would have thought Apple would have, failed at the AI game so miserably, but wait, I said that all along. Uh, so yeah, guess me. All right. Two more quick pieces of AI news that are pretty significant. So ChatGPT has released its ChatGPT search for free. Pretty big news. So OpenAI has announced that ChatGPT search can now be used without even an OpenAI account. Yes, so it is now essentially like a search engine, right? And it is now made much more accessible to a broader audience. So the update allows users to search the web directly through ChatGPT, offering more in-depth results and summaries than traditional search engines. So yeah, ChatGPT has always been, well, not always, but for the last year or so, it has been available for free, even without an account. However, it was not always connected to the internet, right? Which is not good. So this is a pretty big update. So users can access ChatGPT search by visiting chatgpt.com without the need to log in or provide personal information. So like I said previously, accessing ChatGPT search required signing into an OpenAI account, and you did have to have the paid version. So, kind of the iterations of this is first you had to have a paid version of ChatGPT. Then you just had to have a ChatGPT account, and they made it available. ChatGPT search, they made it available for free logged in users. And now ChatGPT has made it available for anyone, right? So yes, there's limits. You can't use it all day for free, but pretty significant here. So the rollout for logged out users will occur over the next few days. So if you log in and you don't see, or sorry, if you log on to chatgpt.com and you see it's not available, just check back in a couple of days. So why is this even significant? Well, Google, that's why it's significant, right? Everyone's been losing their noodles over DeepSeek for the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, y'all, that's not smart. That's not what this is about, right? Because we've seen some aggressive updates from OpenAI. You've seen some aggressive updates from even Mistral, right? Everyone has upped their game, and everyone's like, oh, this is because of DeepSeek, and DeepSeek's a world changing. No, it's not. I honestly think a lot of this update is, well, a couple of things. Compute's getting cheaper, right? The gap between the leaders in the industry and everyone else is shrinking. So everyone knows it's about user acquisition. It's about how many monthly active users do you have on your platform. This isn't about DeepSeek. So stop that. That's silly, right? So Sam Altman here, I have this tweet up for our live stream audience. So there was a tweet, went kind of viral yesterday from SimilarWeb, going over the top 10 websites in the world for January 2025. And ChatGPT had reached its highest ranking ever. So it is the sixth most visited website in the world. And they also, at least out of the top 10 websites, they had the biggest jump in new users month over month at nearly a 6% gain. Whereas Google, and this is the kind of traffic share percentage is what this broke it down on. So Sam Altman said after this tweet that says, ChatGPT has reached its highest ranking yet, said, man, still a long way to go to run down Google. That is OpenAI's goal. It's goal. Like, y'all, people don't care about DeepSeek and all this, open source. It's not open source anyways, FYI. It's not fully open source. So if you want to make the right decision for your company and career, you have to understand the bigger picture, okay? OpenAI is trying to be a search engine, right? I think you also saw that a little bit in their Super Bowl commercial that they ran last night, which I thought was pretty good, a little ambiguous and kind of far-reaching, but still good, right? Where they essentially compared, these big events in human history and then kind of tagged ChatGPT at the end of it. But I think it's important to understand they don't care as much about, when are we going to release GPT-5 or GPT 4.5 or O3 full? Like, I don't think OpenAI is as concerned about that as they are with just competing with Google. They want people to go to chatgpt.com to search. They want people to download their app to search. They want to control users. They want to take Google's market share. And with all of the updates that we talked about at the top of the show that Google's been rolling out, because you can still use Google's AI Studio for free. Their API prices are dropping right now, even better in terms of a quality, or, a price per compute or price per benchmark is better than DeepSeek, right? People are competing with Google.com. They're not necessarily competing with Gemini, because the future of how we interface with computers is changing. All right, our last piece of AI news. It is another OpenAI one. So OpenAI kind of leaked a AI SDR capabilities in a recent presentation in Tokyo. So OpenAI on stage teased a powerful new AI sales development representative product at a demo in Tokyo, signaling a potential shift in the sales tech landscape. So the move comes after OpenAI's recent release of deep research, which is mind-blowing, by the way, which surpassed the capabilities of the DeepSeek model, causing significant ripples in the tech market. So at this event in Tokyo, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman announced a joint venture in Japan with SoftBank called SB OpenAI Japan. Also, OpenAI demoed this new AI SDR product, which looks like it may only be released at first to those companies in SB OpenAI Japan. I'm not sure. They didn't release hardly any details on this. However, in this live working demo, their AI SDR can ingest leads from a website, perform data enrichment, and send automated emails in the correct language, complete with calendar time slots for calls, keeping context. Very impressive. So AI SDR startups are rapidly growing, with companies like Clay 11X qualified in Zoom Info entering the market, although venture capitalists remain cautious. Established CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot have integrated AI and hold a strong position as the system of record for customer data. But OpenAI's eventual entry into this market raises concerns for not just big companies like Salesforce and HubSpot, but also all those other smaller startups that are trying to leverage AI in large language models inside CRMs. So Salesforce, probably the number one name in the CRM game, could dominate the sales and service agent market with its new offering, Agent Force. However, I don't think anyone was expecting this from OpenAI. So we will have to wait and see if this will just be part of the SB OpenAI Japan. Is this only going to be afforded to those clients that are working with SB OpenAI Japan? We also kind of saw their version of OpenAI. I believe it was called Superintelligence. So, I mean, we'll see if any of these actually come to the US at any point soon. But regardless, I think OpenAI, from our last two news stories there, they don't care about DeepSeek. It doesn't even look like they care about Anthropic very much. It looks like they're not only coming for Google, they're coming for Salesforce too. So they want to be a tech giant, and they are acting accordingly. All right, that was a lot of AI news, y'all. Here is the super fast recap. So first, OpenAI has reportedly developed an in-house AI chip to reduce their dependency on NVIDIA. Next, we saw Google Gemini's full 2.0 family release of models, which we covered on our show with Logan Kilpatrick. Make sure to check that out. Next, there's a new proposed U.S. law that could target users and U.S. companies of using DeepSeek and other Chinese AI tech. Not into law yet. It is just a proposed bill. Next, we saw Workday announce more than 1,700 layoffs as they shift their focus to AI. Figure AI has dropped their OpenAI partnership and will be kind of announcing what they stumbled upon or what they discovered in-house that may replace it. Google's stance on AI weapons has changed. Next, we saw former OpenAI co-founder Ilya Sutskever's SSI, or Safe Superintelligence startup, kind of come in at a new valuation of at least $20 billion, even though they haven't released anything yet. Speaking of releases, GitHub Co-pilot has released their agent mode to a very few number of subscribers. Mistral AI has updated its platform, including new paid plans, new features, and coming out to iOS and Android apps. ChatGPT search is now available for free, even if you are not logged in. So if you go to chatgpt.com, OpenAI going after google.com, traditional search, and OpenAI might be going after even CRM giants like Salesforce, as we saw a demo in their Tokyo presentation. So a lot of AI news, it's impacting us all. I hope this recap was helpful for you. If it was, if you're listening on LinkedIn, if you're listening on Twitter, anywhere else, please click that repost button, right? I know sometimes this everyday AI show is your little secret, right? But if you could share it, that would mean a lot to us. We spent a lot of time making sure you are the smartest person in your company when it comes to generative AI advancements, what's happening, what's going on. If you could share this, we'd appreciate it. If you're listening on the podcast, please make sure you go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for the free daily newsletter. If you could, make sure to subscribe to the show, leave us a rating. We would appreciate it. Also, we'd appreciate it. And you will thank yourself if you go to our website and go listen to episodes 443 through 447. They're fast episodes, about 25 minutes. That's about 12 minutes if you listen to me on 2X like I would. So make sure you check out that 2025 AI predictions and roadmap series. It is extremely important. It's also extremely important for you to tune back in. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you back tomorrow and every day for more everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.